Welcome back live to Perspectives, and I'm your host, Ashley Burgess. Tonight I'm going to be talking about bringing the old school ways of life back. Bringing the old school ways of doing things back. You know, I think we've gotten away from what really matters. I feel that we have walked away from the important stuff in life. I think a lot of times we text for everything. Every single thing in our life we text about. We text about, are you going to the store? Are you going to be at the Halloween party? Better yet, we text about funerals. We text about absolutely anything. We text about making major plans. People even text others about marriage plans, what have you. We text, we're out of control. And I think it's time to bring back the good old phone call. Pick up the phone and make the call. And you know, the reason why I believe that the old school phone call applies so much more now in 2015, 2016 than ever before is that it honestly means more. It just means more. Think about it. It really means a lot because nowadays when you actually pick up the phone and call, guess what? People go, whoa, Ashley really went out of the way. You didn't have to go out of your way to call me. I mean, think about how weird people get when they accidentally dial you. They'll like butt dial you. You know, they'll be like, oh my God. And you'll answer the phone, you'll be like, hello. And they'll be like, oh my God, Ashley, I'm so sorry. I butt dialed you. I was trying to text you earlier. And it's like, hey, it's okay. We're good. We can talk now if you want. I mean, I'm already on the phone. And it's funny because it used to not be a big deal to call somebody. Like, he didn't think you were putting them out. You know, nowadays we call somebody and it's like we're putting them out. Like, oh God. Yeah, I really hope she doesn't get really pissed off that I called. I hope she answers. I wonder if she's avoiding my call. You know, the other thing about calling is that we get more accomplished. Think about it. When was the last time that you got total carpal tunnel syndrome dealing with your friend that just doesn't get it? You're like, dude, I told you, we're not meeting there. We're meeting here, and we're meeting at this time, not that time. And yes, you can bring whoever, and yes, you can wear whatever. And they're like, what? I don't understand. Where are we meeting? What time? You're like, God, just pick up the phone, and you call them, and it goes directly to voicemail. And their response to you on a text is, I'm on the phone. You need to text me. I'm on a, protocol 1 right now. You need to text me. And you get absolutely nothing accomplished because you're too busy trying to text this person that has no time to be on the phone, all this information that really, quite frankly, they don't really deserve. And I realize that we get so much more accomplished when we actually pick up the phone and call someone. I mean, seriously, I planned a birthday party. This was several years ago with a friend of mine out in LA. And I don't want to name any names or point fingers. Okay, I'll name names. Jake Busey and I were planning a birthday party together. And his birthday is a couple of weeks from my birthday. And we just decided we would kind of meet it in the middle. So the week after my birthday and the weekend before his birthday, we were going to have a party. Well, we never really talked on the phone about it. We just texted about 350 plus times. And finally, it was like time was like kind of creeping up. I had like 2 days before I was going out to LA. And there was a lot of people going to the party. It was going to be a big bash. It was going to be pretty cool, actually. And I was like, man, I really want to call him to make sure that we're on the same path. But he was filming a TV show at the time. So I was just like, hey, see you soon. Can't wait for the party. Oh, me too. Well, I get out there, and my friends all get out there, and I was thinking we were doing it on Friday night, and as you can figure it out, he was thinking the party was Saturday. It totally screwed up absolutely everything. And it was based on the fact that neither one of us got on the phone and actually made a call. Had we had been on the phone, we would have quickly gotten to the fact that I thought it was Friday and he thought it was Saturday. That could have been taken care of earlier. Instead, we had a group of people at one party and a group of people at another and some pissed off people in the middle. And me not so happy either, and him not either. Ashley, I can't believe you think it was Friday. I can't believe, can't believe you thought it was Saturday. It was coming in on Wednesday. So basically, when we pick up the phone, there's a less chance for misunderstandings, right? On anything, on birthday parties, on trips, on work. I mean, it's amazing how awesome it is when we pick up the phone and make a call, because there's certain things you don't really want to write down in an email. There's certain things that you really don't want to write down in an email. And there's also a length of an email that's okay. A novel is not okay. A novel is not okay. And sometimes, in order to say 5 minutes of a dialogue, that is the size of a novel when it comes to email. Because you know how it is when you pull up an email on your phone. Even if you have the 6 Plus, even if you have the 6 Plus iPhone, those emails can look so long because you're having to scroll up through the whole thing. You're like, my God, how much did they write? Like, what do they think this is? I mean, this is an email, for God's sakes. I mean, they're totally taking advantage of my time here. This is absolutely unbelievable. And we all feel that way. We all feel that way because we're like, what is this about? What is going on? How could they be so thoughtless of our time? They don't ever give a crap about my time. They never have and they never will. They don't even know what I do for a living. A little extreme, but yes, you get the point. I think also with the phone, because, I'm a therapist. I'm a licensed therapist, and when I'm a therapist, I do actually accept Skype and phone calls. And there are some therapists nowadays that are actually accepting texting, and I refuse to do that for several reasons. One, you don't have an ability to get a sense of an emotional state or well-being from a client on a text. Words on a text do not specify emotional well-being. Also, people that text a lot in these situations, there are lag times. There's a lot of changing of the mind, but also there's a consistent texting. And I believe that in therapy, like anything else, there's a time and a place, and it's not all day and all night. It's a consistent time and place. And what I've realized that when I use the phone, I get a good sense of a client's emotional state. Because I can hear the inflections in their voice. I can hear pauses. I can understand little nuances that spell out situations and thought processes to me that I could not do on a text message. I'm able to understand better where they're coming from. And it's not just to do with clients. So think about it. We're not, it's not just all about clients. It's not just all about the client and the therapy. It's about your friends, your family, your coworkers. I mean, it was so funny. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, actually, and they had gotten some sort of respiratory type infection thing. And I was kind of laughing because before when we had talked on the phone, I had said that, he might actually be allergic to his job. And I was going to make a joke about that on text, like, maybe you're allergic to that just like everybody else is. But I knew that would sound kind of like, would it sound funny on a text? Would it be funny on a text? And so when we talked on the phone earlier, I told him, he was laughing out loud, laughing out loud, which was hilarious. But, they were like, oh, I totally would have gotten it on a text. But even if they got where I was coming from, it wouldn't have been as funny. And, the delivery wouldn't be there. With the texting, you really miss out on the delivery. There really is no delivery. I mean, you can send a funny text at a certain time after you see somebody, but there's no proper delivery. You can't be an expert comedian in the fact of texting. You're not going to do that well. Some people are going to get it. Some people aren't even going to understand what the heck you're even trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Some people aren't even going to understand. They're going to be like, that's not funny at all. How dare her talk about my mother like that? Seriously. it can be completely misunderstood and misconstrued. It can put you in the hot seat, or it can just get you unliked. You know, the next old school facet, old school. Bringing old school back, baby. Whoop, 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 whoop. We're going to bring old school back. The next thing we're going to do is the stuff that only urban legends are made out of now. Only urban legends talk about the handwritten letter. The handwritten letter, the letter that you handwrite on some sort of cardstock, some sort of correspondence stock, and you use cursive a lot, not always. And I found out that they don't teach cursive in class in school anymore. Did you know that? Did you know that? I did not know that. I did not know that they do not teach cursive anymore. Most of the kids in public schools can't even take their books home, much less teach cursive. And so let's bring back this urban legend of the handwritten letter. I think that the handwritten letter is almost like the new courtship of 2020. In 2020, when people are dating, they're going to use courtship by handwritten letters. The U.S. mail, really? Air mail, really? It's going to be like this whole handwritten letter, like resurgence, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a big deal, because you know what the handwritten letter means? You cared enough to write a letter by hand, to put it in an envelope, to close the said envelope, to add postage. Oh my God. Jesus. Add postage to it. And you put it in the mailbox. Or you had to go up to the post office. See what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot that goes into this, guys. Okay? And I'm saying that the handwritten letter means more in communication than almost anything. There's only one other thing that means more, and I'll talk about that later on here. But this is a big time deal because it expresses gratitude. It expresses caring, loving, concern, happiness. It expresses the fact that you cared enough to give a shit, right? You gave a shit to get the damn letter in the mail, and you cared about it, and it says something. And I'm not always good with birthdays, I'll tell you that. And so sometimes I'm a little delinquent when it comes to that. But I'm talking about not just necessarily holidays, okay? I'm talking about the handwritten letter just to say, hey, I was thinking about you. Or, hey, thanks a lot for doing that for me. Or, hey, you're a good person and I just want to say hi. Because it's a surprise element, right? It's the element of surprise that people are not really thinking is going to be there. I mean, think about it. Last time you opened the mailbox and a handwritten letter that was a personal letter to you came in the mail. And I just got one 2 days ago from a friend of mine, Chris Howell. And I was so stoked because I was at my office, and my office, and where I see my patients, my office is a really cool old house that was built in like the 20s. And it's really cool. And there's a mail slot in the front, right? So right next to the front door, there's a mail slot that goes right into the place. And, the mailman takes the mail and throws it in there normally. And there I was sitting there, meeting with a client. And as the mail went through the mail slot, it always scares the crap out of new clients. Like, oh my God. And I'm like, that's the last thing we need is a lot of stress coming out of you because of a mail slot scenario. But anyway, I feel bad. Like, I don't know, it's okay. It's just the mail. It's just the mail. There's a, let's see what this is. There's a Trader Joe's circular. A Trader Joe's circular. There's an Orvis coupon for $25. That's pretty good. On a $50 purchase. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll have to use that or give that to somebody that will use it. And then there was, in the midst of those things, I mean, I could not believe it, was a little card. And it had my name on it. And it had my name on it and my office address and a stamp. And I literally looked at my client at the time and I said, hey, do you mind waiting 1 second? I'm going to open this up. And I opened it up. And I pulled out the card. And on the front was this gold and black pattern, which was really cool. It had like polka dots and it said, thank you. And I opened up the letter, and it was from my friend Chris, thanking me for coming on his show and doing an interview with him. And I thought that was kick-ass. I mean, that is genuine class. I mean, I got to do this more often. I got to send letters. My mom sends letters all the time. She sends letters for me taking her out to lunch. She sends letters for gifts that I buy her. She sends letters when she misses some of my live shows during the week. Isn't that precious? I mean, that's absolutely adorable. When your mom actually cares about your show. Now, my dad, he's on the fence a little bit. He's not always catching. He randomly catches shows, and when he does catch shows, they're always kind of crazy shows, like having sex with a borderline personality disorder. Are you dating a borderline? Are you borderline? Those are my dad's favorite ones. About affairs and all that kind of stuff. My dad loves those. My mom, on the other hand, loves the ones like this. And she loves shows about, finding purpose and honesty and clarity in your life. But it's so sweet. She sends the cutest little cards. And you know what she uses on them? Stickers. She puts the cutest little stickers on the outside of the card, and it is adorable. It's adorable. It's these cute little stickers, like little birds and like little birds chirping, or like a little robin, or like a little crane smiling, saying hi. Those kind of things. It's adorable. It's absolutely adorable. Maybe she uses like the Muppets sometimes because she knows I'm a big Kermit fan. Yes, I like Kermit. I do like Kermit. I mean, Miss Piggy's cool, but I'm a big Kermit fan. And I have Kermit's right here on my studio mic. And neon green is my absolute favorite color. And so she'll put stuff like that on these cards, and it's absolutely adorable. And you know what's awesome about it? It's the surprise element. It's surprising because it's so sweet. It's surprising because it's so sweet. And it really does form a lasting impression. And you really think about that person. It was very interesting. Okay, a couple of years ago, and I know a lot of my listeners right now are just going to laugh their ass off. A couple of years ago, I'm going to laugh too because it's a sweet story surrounded by a bad situation. So several years ago, I decided that, the genius, me, was going to run for condo association board. Insert laugh track here. Yes, I was going to run for the condo association board because I believed that was a good thing for me to do. Like I had any extra time. Only on the air 13 hours a week, plus I'm a therapist and writing a 4th book right now, and I think I'm doing the 80-hour work week, but sometimes, I just go in and out of consciousness. Just kidding, not that bad. But no, it's just like you work a lot, and I know you do too. There's not like we have a lot of extra time. You don't have extra time to go be the condo association president, do you? No. But you know what? We want to change things, and we believe we can change things, and we feel that we can change things, and because we feel like we can change things, we want to run for every little position that we think is going to help out, for the fellow man, for our fellow condo owners. And so I ran for the condo board, knowing that it was going to be a hard run, being that the person that was actually in the position that I was running against, his husband built the entire property. So I kind of figured out that wasn't going to work out. But you know what the point was, is that people asked me to run, and so I ran. People asked me to run. People really had a deep conversation. We would like you to run. It would mean a lot to us. And so I ran. I should never have listened to any of those people, by the way. Never listen to those people. But that's okay. And God bless some of them. God bless all of them. But, some of them, man, I didn't realize they were just setting me up for failure. So anyway, I put my name in the basket to run, and I sent out my bio. And I wrote handwritten letters to all of the neighbors to let them know that I was running and I would really appreciate their vote. And if there was anything that I could do to help them right now with anything that's going on in their unit, I would definitely be there to help. So I gave out all these letters and I put them in the mailbox, or I gave them to the front desk lady. And they were dispersed, and they were all individually written for each individual owner by name, and specifically dealing with stuff about just them. It wasn't a form letter. It was all handwritten as well. Very expensive correspondence stock, I might say. And yeah, okay, as you know, I did lose the election, okay? There was a fight there. There was a closeness there, but no, I lost. And he went back into power, which is fine, and I've gotten over that, and now I'm cool. However, one of the people that even voted against me, I saw her, I guess this was probably about 7 months after that election. She lives in 2 different places. She lives on the ocean and then another place in town. And so she's got a lot going on. And she was going to her other house, and I guess they were flying or driving. I think they were driving. And she had this like clear plastic bin from Container Store. It's like one of those, it's like water resistant, and she had all these papers and stuff like that, and I saw inside there, my handwritten letter was saved. And even though she hadn't voted for me because the guy that was running was her best friend for over 12 years, she still saved the card. That tells you directly that no matter what, a handwritten letter means more than almost anything to anyone. And I'm not just saying the one that you write and you hand over to somebody. I'm talking about the one that you got to mail. And I don't know why that is, but it's just like the thought process. You had to go out of your way to mail the letter. And I think it's because it's more novel. It's a novel concept now because it's not every day. It's a novel concept. It's kind of like chivalry. Shrivelly. It's kind of like chivalry. It really is, because it's like the knight in shining armor. You know, it's like, there you are. You're the letter writer in shining armor, and there you are, and you put that in there, and they get it several days later, and it's just so unexpected. It's so unexpected, and it's so just amazing because it brings people's spirits up. It reminds them that people care. And it also shows them that they are honestly and completely treasured. Because when I do receive letters, I realize that person does treasure me because they care enough to send me a letter. And I think, remember, Hallmark used to use that. Hallmark, you care enough to send the very best. You care enough to send the very best. And back then, everybody sent cards. Everybody sent cards. Now, you care enough to send an email, or maybe a text, or maybe all you get is emoticons out of me. Smiley face, shotgun, ghost, pile of poo. Seriously. And a lot of times that's what we're doing nowadays, is we're like talking in hieroglyphics, but they're not really hieroglyphics. They're smiley faces and frowny faces and piles of poo and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, we got to get back to what works. A handwritten letter really does work. If a lady that didn't even vote for me for the condo association kept my letter 7 to 8 months later, there's something to be said about that. And she's not a hoarder, okay? I mean, I can't constantly validate that. I haven't actually been inside of all her homes, and I can't actually say that. But I don't think she is. It's about the card, okay? It's about the card. So we talked about picking up the damn phone and making a call, because you know what? People like that stuff. It's funny because it throws people off too, because if you want to get to the bottom of something, pick up the phone. If you want to get to the bottom of something, pick up the phone. If you want to show somebody you care, write a handwritten letter and send it. It's always awesome because it's like, wow. They actually care. They wrote me a letter. This is so awesome. Last but not least, the third thing that you can do to bring back the old school ways of life, bring back the old school ways of doing things, is the old popover. the stopping by. I mean, remember back in the day when you would just drive over to a friend's house and be like, what up? We're here, we're hanging, we're funning, we're having a great time, this is a blast, woo! And people be so happy, they'd be like, man, I'm so glad he stopped by, that made my night. And, the stop by, I mean, when it's a decent time, I mean, don't be going over somebody's house at 2 a.m. in the morning and expect them to be really, really happy that you showed up. I'm just saying, when you're in the area and you call somebody, and this is not about stalking, this is just you're in the area, you call somebody, or you find yourself right there, call them up, hey, I'm right here, can I come by? Most of the time, people will totally dig the fact that you went out there and did that. Just to go by there. Just the face-to-face is so awesome, the face-to-face. The face-to-face does a lot nowadays because you learn a lot about somebody, you understand where they're coming from, you understand their reasoning, you feel them, you get the emotional type understanding, you figure out their state, their emotional state, their well-being, but also it shows that you care. I mean, people that don't care don't stop by, right? I mean, the friends that you have that really aren't your friends, they don't really care. You only see them when you're when you won the lottery or you're buying champagne or Kettle One for everybody, you know what I'm saying? Seriously. Only then, when it's like bottles of Kettle One for everybody, they're like, hey, what's up, Ashley? What are you doing? Oh my God. But it's your real friends that stop by and care. It's your real friends that don't care. And the stopping by shows that you care. The stopping by shows you're a real friend. It's kind of like the go out of your way factor. The stopping by is equivalent to the going out of your way factor. Think about it. Because that really supersedes call for sure. Supersedes call by 200%. It supersedes texting by a totally different universe. We can't even compute the numbers that jumps over that. It's kind of interesting how the stop by and the handwritten letter, because the handwritten letter goes pretty far. Okay? It goes pretty far. But the stop by, it's kind of right up there, because when people are like, man, God, I'm really glad she stopped by. That really made my day. Think about the last time you stopped by a friend's house. And you didn't expect to stop by there, but you just happened to be in the area, and you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go by there. If they answer the door, great. If they don't answer the door, that's fine, no big deal. If they don't answer the door, I'll just say, hey, I was in the area. I'll text them or something and just be like, yeah, hey, I was around, talk to you later. I'll leave a note or put it in the mailbox or something like that. And when was the last time you did that, and you knocked on the door, you rang the doorbell, and they came down and they were like really, really, really happy to see you? Like, really happy. And I really think that it means a lot to people, because I think there's a whole concept of caregiving that comes with the stopover. I mean, think about, some people don't ever get visitors all day long. Some people are retired and don't see anybody. I mean, that's really what Meals on Wheels is, right? I mean, yes, they offer food and they give food, but it gives that person someone to see. I mean, and you have some friends, and I know that some of us don't always remember this, and it's easy not to, because we have these busy, busy lives, and we got a lot going on, and it's nothing against you. You're a good person. It's just hard to keep it all in your mind. You got so much going on. You got a lot of stuff going on with the family and work, and paying bills and responsibilities, and, trying to have a drink or two at least here and there. But there are some people that would really, really enjoy seeing you and spending time. And that's key. And I think that once we are face-to-face and then going out of our way and showing that we care, that in alone is so amazing. But even better yet, guess what? That can morph into something really awesome. So, for example, you go by there, and instead of just stopping by, y'all end up going to get coffee. Maybe you make a lunch or a dinner. For some of y'all that are like, maybe interested in the romance factor, maybe y'all go to dinner, maybe y'all go all the way. Maybe you end up getting engaged because you actually stopped by. Person saw that you cared. They knew that you weren't a game player. There's a lot of things that can happen when you show up to life. And that's what I say. Showing up to life and showing that you care means the world to people. And I feel like these have become old school ways of doing things. And I feel that it's time for us to bring the old school ways back. It's time for us to show that these things still work. And better yet, it's also awesome because guess what? You'll get what you want. I mean, if it's for the good and it's for the positive, you'll get what you want because you're putting yourself out there, you're caring, you're knowledgeable, and you're changing the game. Because after a while, we get tired of this. I mean, technology is only as good as it is, but technology also has a tendency, if we don't watch, to separate us. And the last thing we want to do is to be separated from our friends and loved ones. To be separated from people who love us. To be separated from people who love to see us and who care about us. To be separated from people who don't need to be separated. It's time for us to step up to the plate and realize that we have a lot of power. And that even in the response, I've been talking about, picking up the phone, making the call, handwriting the letter, and stopping by. This can even go a step further. When you begin to become more active like this, situations of fear begin to go away too, because you realize that if you want to know what's going on, just go find out yourself. If you want to know what's happening in a part of town around you and you've been hearing stuff, be smart, but go find out for yourself what's going on. You don't have to buy into the hype anymore. You're your own person. I mean, you're strong, you're capable, and you know what's so cool about it? You'll find out the truth if you care to. The truth shall set you free. It always does and it always will. It's just sometimes it's hard to find out what the truth is. There's a lot of angles and positions. And when we put ourselves out there and we bring back these old school ways, we're able to be more knowledgeable, more clear-headed, more coherent. We're also able to see that there's a lot of people that actually care. Because technology has a tendency of kind of dividing people off, and it makes people wonder if anybody really cares about them anymore. We get so stuck on the cell phone that we hold our phone like it's like that we're gripping, like we're holding on to grim death. You know what I mean? We're like, oh God, did anybody text me? Did anybody like my picture I put up on Facebook? Oh God. I mean, I didn't get hardly any likes on that. Or that tweet was magnificent tweet. Only 6 retweets? Nah. Seriously, there's something about the personal touch. And it's time to bring that back. To bring back the personal touch. To bring back your power. To put yourself back in the power position. Because it's time. Time is of the essence. We can't go and grab more time. We can't go buy more time. We have the time that we have, and we got to use it to the best of our ability. And one way to use it to the best of your ability is to be completely and fully engaged in what you're doing. And when you're fully engaged, man, people can only avoid you for so long before they have to step up to the plate. And you either find out, one, I'm not going to deal with this person, or they're maybe a phony, or they're a fraud. Because you'll find out a lot about people, especially in business. People that want to get into business with you, they're not straight up, they're not really honest, they're probably less likely to get on the phone and talk with you. They're definitely less likely to be on Skype with you. Okay? Think about this. I mean, people that actually care about you will go the distance. They'll go the distance to show that they care. They'll go the distance. And that's the key. And if somebody goes the distance, then you know they care. If they don't, then you know they don't really care that much. I mean, it's easy to be around when all the chips are up. It's easy to be around when it's convenient. When it's convenient, heck, anybody can be around. That's a no-brainer. And when you kind of do these things and you put yourself back in the game and you're able to see where people stand, guess what? You get a lot more knowledge. You get a lot more information. And you become very clear-headed to the people that you might want to spend more time with and the people that you might want to spend less time. And that's key. I'll have a great show for you next week. I'm going to be doing live shows once a week here Once a week shows here. I'm looking forward to it. Once a week shows here on Spreaker. And working on some other stuff here coming on. I'm looking forward to it. Be on the Adore FM network as well. And so I'm looking really forward to this because this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting. And you know what? As you can tell, I got to do a little cussing today, and I kind of like that. It was kind of nice. I'm not able to do that on the other stations. And, yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So, yeah. So from now on out, check out the old school ways of doing things. Pick up that phone. Write that handwritten letter and use cursive, doggone it. And always do the stop by because you know what? I love it when friends stop by. I like it. I feel loved. I feel supported. And I know that people actually cared. I know they cared because you know what? They call me and they go, hey, by the way, I'm here. Can I come by? Is that okay? Yeah, I'd love to see you. I'd love to see it. I'd love to hear what y'all think. Check out my website, AshleyBurgess.com, my Twitter handle, Ashley Burgess, and Facebook, Ashley Burgess. Perspectives with your host, me, Ashley Burgess, will be back this time in 3 shakes.